If you make your own book covers, stop right now and watch this video. People say don't judge a book by its cover, but everybody does, especially when you're shopping on Amazon and you're scrolling through tons of books to find the one that sticks out to you. Your book cover is probably the single most important thing to sell your book. So that means that we want to spend time and effort ensuring that our book covers are the best they possibly can be. Now, not everybody can go out there and hire a professional designer. There are pre-mades that you can make, and you can use websites like Fiverr, which are cheaper alternatives than going to a professional. But a lot of people, including myself, have some design skills, and especially in today's day and age where there's a lot of imagery accessible like stock, like AI, there's great scope to create book covers yourself. But if you just put a random book cover out there in a competitive niche, you're just not going to sell books. So in this video, we're going to go through what you should do, what you shouldn't do, and how to make the best book cover possible. The first thing that you want to do before starting designing is to look through Amazon and look into competitor books, see what they're doing on their covers, see which ones are selling, see what's working well, what's ranking well, and see what buyers expect in that genre. Here we're looking at a colouring book genre around Little Monsters, which is for kids. So you've got a lot of cartoony characters, you've got quite a lot of nice softer colours involved, some nice playful titling. But these are very focused around the characters and the colours. Once you've done a little bit of research, seeing what other people are doing, it will give you a really good starting point to know what you want to be doing with your cover. Not only will it allow you to fit in with what other people are doing, but it also should give you ideas of what you can do better than other people and how to stand out, and then outperform the others in that genre. The next step to creating your book cover is to download a KDP template. All you need to do is go to kdp.amazon.com/cover-calculator. My advice would be to go to here once you've created your interior, or at least knowing how long your book's going to be. This website will give you a cover size calculator, which is really important for making sure that you're creating the right book cover size for Amazon. So going through here, you select your binding type. So we'll go for paperback. Interior type, the standard is black and white. Paper type, we'll choose white paper. Page turn direction, the standard is left to right. You choose the size of your book. For this one, we are doing an 8.5 by 11 inch book, and you choose the page count. For this one, we're going to have 103 pages. Here on the right hand side, it will tell you all of your specifications for your book cover. So when you're creating your new document, that is the full cover size, which is this size highlighted right here. But it will also tell you how large your front cover is, the safe area, the bleed, the margins, the spine, everything you need to know for creating your book cover. A simple way to get started with this is to click Download Template, and then you have your template downloaded. Now we've got the template, we need to choose the software that we're going to create the cover in. There are a lot of options out there, including easy to use ones like Canva. But if you want the cover to be as professional as possible, I'd recommend using paid software such as Adobe Photoshop, which is what I'm going to show you today. So when we're in Adobe Photoshop, we need to match the overall dimensions, which is 17.482 by 11.25. I always leave the resolutions at 300 dpi, which is a high quality print spec. And you want to make sure that the color mode is on CMYK color. This is then our blank canvas for our book cover. What I like to do is drag the template in on top of our canvas. That then allows us to see which part of the book we're working on, but it also ensures that we are actually creating to the right shape. In Photoshop, I like to make a group with a mask for the front cover. That way, everything I'm working on is focusing on the front cover, and then I'll go and do the same thing for the back cover. How I do that is I create a group, select the front cover, and then click the mask button. Now, everything within this group will only affect the front page. So for example, if we did a pink fill, it would just fill the front page. Next is one of the most important things. We need some hero imagery to use on the book cover. Depending on the type of book you're making, you might want it to be illustration, you might want it to be a sketch, a cartoon, you might want it to be CGI, or you might want it to be a photo. There are essentially 3 different ways to find imagery for your book cover. The first is to look at stock websites. This has been where designers have started for years and years. There are often some great stock options that you can use that are royalty-free for use with print-on-demand content. The issue with stock is that other people are likely to use it, and you need to check the terms and conditions to make sure that the commercial terms are suitable for what you're creating. 2 of the free stock websites that I tend to use are pexels.com and unsplash.com. These websites are great, especially for photography. So if we click on this one, you've got the option to edit it directly in Canva, or you can download it for free as a large file size. The next option is to use a website like Creative Fabrica, where people create designs and upload them. This is much better for illustrations, drawings, cartoons, anything that you can sketch out and draw and create. So for here, for example, we've got 6 cute little monster clip art, which is exactly the type of thing we're looking for. The benefit of using a site like Creative Fabrica is there are a lot of really creative, really beautiful options that you can choose between. But again, as with stock, you do risk other people using the same designs as you. So when you're integrating them into your cover, you might want to think about how creatively you can place them, maybe mixing and matching from different sets, for example, to make sure that yours is completely unique. And the final option for imagery is to use AI. This is my favorite option. So on Midjourney, for example, you need a paid subscription to be able to use these for commercial purposes, but I find the subscription well worth it. So here, for example, we're going to put little monster cute illustration. The drawbacks to using AI is that it can take a little bit of trial and error, and that sometimes the output isn't 100% exactly what you'd like it to be. For example, here there's a random orange ball, which we would need to go into Photoshop and remove, or click Make Variations. So it can take a little bit more time to get exactly what you're looking for, but the positive is that the result is going to be completely unique. The output resolution also isn't super high with AI. This is currently 1024 pixels by 1024 pixels. There are lots of websites out there that upscale images using AI as well. Here we've uploaded our image and now we've got a higher resolution version to work with. Okay, so here we go. We've got a start to our cover. We've got a stock design option, and then we've got one which we created ourselves using AI. We've got our hero image. Now I'll probably play around with the colors a little bit, try and make a nice background that stands out, maybe add some textures or a gradient, and we might end up with something like this. So for me, the AI option just looks more fun. We might need to clean it up a little bit. So I'll get the eraser tool, zoom in, and get rid of some of the blemishes. And there we have our hero image with the background. This isn't perfect and I would clean it up a lot more. I would sort this out, for example, and I would make sure that I have got rid of all of these little bits. But just for now, this is where we are. The next really important thing to focus on is your title. By now you should know what you want to call your book, but if not, take some time because it's super important, and once you've published on Amazon KDP, you cannot update your title. This one we're going to keep really simple and just call it Little Monsters Colouring Book. You can hide the background. This is why I like to have the template in the background, because we can see where the title might be cut off. So you don't want the title to go anywhere in the pink area, and you want it to be centered. And you can even add a ruler if you want in the middle. So we need to choose a fun font. You can look on websites again like Creative Fabrica. You can go on Google, Adobe, and download some free to use font families. but you need to make sure that your font matches the genre. So here we're doing a kids monsters book. We want something fun, something friendly. And again, you can look at other books on Amazon and see what they're doing and do something similar. This one here seems quite nice and fun and playful, so this is the one we're going to go for. We need to make sure it's in the safety area, which it is, and it's as big as possible. And I might just slant it slightly to make it a little bit more fun. We're also going to add a description at the bottom, slightly smaller. But there we go. There's a really, really basic setup to a front cover. Now we've got most of the important stuff down, you want to make sure that the front cover is optimized for thumbnail view. On Amazon, the book covers tend to be really, really small. So you need to make sure that the hero image pops out and grabs someone, but that also the titles are clearly legible and also interesting. So if we zoom out, do I think that this is exciting enough? Do I think that the titles are big enough? Probably not. So I'm going to change this up a little bit and make it pop out a little bit more for thumbnail view. So zooming out, I think this looks much better already. We probably want to do something to the title to make it stand out even more. Maybe a better stroke, maybe some word art, maybe just adding a bit more style to make it pop and stand out. Once you're happy that overall the title, the hero image, in general, the cover pops out and you're happy with how it looks from a distance, you want to make sure that you've added all of the descriptions that are needed on the cover. For this one, it's really simple. It's a Little Monsters colouring book, but seeing as it's for kids, we probably want to add that somewhere as well. So this isn't perfect and I've done this in a few seconds, but for example now, the title reads Little Monsters Colouring Book for Kids. Now you know exactly what you're getting, and from a distance, it still stands out and shows you exactly what you're getting. And now we can move on to the back cover. So a lot of people neglect the back cover, but as you can see from this example, when you're on Amazon, you normally get to see two images, the front cover by default, and then the back cover. That gives you another space to sell your product. And in my opinion, it gives you an opportunity to make it feel as premium as possible as well. So again, a really basic example, but a rule of thumb for the back cover for me and how I approach it is to make sure to have some branding on there. That increases brand awareness and might help people find other books of yours. And I quite like to include a preview of what's inside. That way, people have more opportunity of seeing what they're getting above the look inside feature. Here we've got two examples of what the colouring pages look like inside. Then we've got an additional hook there as well. I'd probably work on this a little bit harder and come up with something a bit more fun. But here we go. This is just an example for you. Again, you want to make sure that it's all within the safety area and aligned properly. And there we have our front and back cover. Then you need to export it as a print-ready PDF. On Photoshop, you export it as a Photoshop PDF, and then your book cover is ready for uploading to Amazon. This is just one approach to making a book cover. It suits this sort of kiddie genre quite well because it's quite simple, quite clean, and very text and illustration focused. Depending on what you're creating, you probably need to spend a bit more time crafting a beautiful cover and making sure that it stands out over the competitors. This really, really simple cover took me about 5 minutes to make. If I was going to publish this, I would craft it a bit longer. I'd put a bit more work into the back cover to make it stand out a bit more as well. The next step is an optional one, but it's one that I've found super useful in the past. And that's actually, when you're happy with your cover, it's designed, it's exported, is just go away. Leave it for at least a day and then come back to it and see if you still feel that it's good enough. I bet you at least half the time you're going to come up with something that can improve it even further. So it can be really, really useful to just give it some time and then come back to it, make any final changes, and then you're finally ready. When you're ready to upload, you go to kdp.amazon.com, put in all of your book information, and then you get through to the content section. You can either buy or get assigned your own ISBN. And then you need to make sure that you're selecting the same print options that you selected for your cover template as well. So here we go, we're going to upload our manuscript that we just created, and then we are good to go with our cover. And that is it. Those steps are going to help you to create better covers. Obviously, there are more in-depth things that we can look into in the future, but for today, those steps are going to help take your covers to another level. But I want to hear from you as well. What kind of things do you focus on when you're creating your covers? Drop a comment down in the description below and let me know. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.